What's going on, everyone? D'Lo, Mr. Ice in his veins, the smooth criminal went and put in buckets on the Golden State Warriors. Lakers put on an absolute dominant performance in LA for Game 3, taking the series 2-1. Game 4, right around the corner. I cannot be more pumped. If this is the D'Angelo Russell that we get going forward, good luck. It's not a coincidence that every game in the playoffs, D'Lo has scored 17 points or more. We've won. We're undefeated in the playoffs when D'Lo scores 17 points or more because he's so valuable. He's our best three-way scorer, right? Like, he really is. He's absolutely incredible. His ability to knock down the three ball and catch fire, we saw. 5 of 8 from 3. His ability to get to the rim and score, we saw. That's valuable. His midi, we saw. Butter. His ability to do that while also playmaking. He can go get you 20 and still give you 5, 6, 7, 8 assists. Like, D'Lo is massive. D'Lo is our third best player. He really is. Right? And especially in a time where, like, Austin Reeves has really struggled. And Darvin Ham's trying to find guys to kind of pick it up, right? Lonnie Walker comes in, gives us 12. That was huge. Dennis Schroeder had a nice, solid game, right? Dennis Schroeder, our guards are our advantage. I get Golden State. They have Steph. They have Clay. They have Poole. That's all nice and fancy. But none of those guys can guard our guards. Dennis Schroeder has gotten whatever he wanted. Lonnie Walker got what he wanted. And he hadn't played. Austin Reeves is getting what he wants, but he just isn't hitting. He just can't find his shot, right? But he's still getting his shots. He's still getting his looks. He's still getting into the teeth of the defense. And then D'Lo's ability to just navigate. It's been really impressive. Really impressive. And I said this after game 2, that D'Lo had a rough game, but it really looked like he figured them out. It really did. He kept getting to he was abusing them. If you really watch that game. Yes, I know the Lakers got smacked in that game. I get it. But D'Lo was having his way. He just couldn't find his shot. Like, he couldn't find the touch. But it looked like he figured out how to get to his spots with ease. And I think I was right because, he came out and he gave the Golden State Warriors buckets. 21 points on 8 of 13 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3. I mean, the guy was just butter. And look, we probably get blown out and lose this game if it wasn't for D'Lo. D'Lo was our only offense in the beginning. First quarter, LeBron hadn't scored. Guys were looking rough. It was really questionable. Warriors were winning. D'Lo had our first 11 points or whatever it was, or 9 points. D'Lo was massive early on. Having him getting going and keeping us in the game, hitting big shots. He was huge for us. And we need him to continue to be that way. D'Lo is our biggest X factor, right? I've talked about Jared Vanderbilt being an X factor. I've talked about, Rui Hachimura, and he's been great. I've talked about several guys potentially being an X factor and having an impact and being a difference maker. None of them. There's not another guy on our roster that's not named LeBron James and Anthony Davis that can have a bigger impact on a nightly basis than D'Lo. It's why the Lakers went and got D'Angelo Russell. That's why, and D'Lo has been huge for us in these playoffs. I know he's had some bad games. He's struggled in moments, but he's literally saved the Memphis Grizzlies series, came out and dominated and closed them out. Then has been solid in the Warriors series. He was great in game 1. And now here we are in game 3 and just took over. Completely took over. And was the catalyst that really just kept us afloat. I mean, yes, I know when you look at the score and you look at the box score and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, Lakers won by 30. That might have not have happened if it wasn't for D'Lo. Seriously. Like, D'Lo was literally our only offense for like 10 minutes in that game. Like, literally, like, we had like a 10-minute stretch where we had just D'Lo's points, essentially. And that is very valuable. You know, he's supposed to be our third guy. He's our big three, right? Like every team, you got, you know, your star or two, but then you break it down like who's that other guy? D'Lo might be the best third guy in the league. Seriously. Like if you're talking about just third guys, like he seriously might be the best with his ability to just not only play make, but to put the ball in the basket at all three levels. And defensively, he's been really good defensively. He's not elite. He's not some lockdown defender. He's not like shutting anybody down, but he has been working on both sides of the ball. Most of the time, he's had to guard Andrew Wiggins, and he's been holding he's kept Andrew Wiggins pedestrian. Andrew Wiggins hasn't been like going off for insane, 25, 30-point games. He's switched on Clay and has gotten some good stops, switched on Curry and got some good stops. Like, he's putting in the work, like, on both sides of the ball. And we need that. All three guys. LeBron's been great on both sides of the ball. He's been really good defensively. And these three guys are the guys that set the tone. And D'Angelo Russell he's one of the leaders. He has, outside of these other two, LeBron and AD, he has the most playoff experience, right? I mean, he was the guy in Brooklyn. And then he was one of the options in Minnesota. And now he's here with the Lakers, and he's the third guy with the Lakers. And he plays off the ball so well. He really does. And this is why, so many people had talked about how D'Lo and his stretch with Minnesota in the playoffs, right? And how bad he was. And I defended D'Lo, and I said that if you actually watched how Minnesota used D'Lo, he might as well not even been on the court. It wasn't as much D'Lo as it was just the way that Minnesota used him. But what's funny is Minnesota had like an 85% or something crazy like that win rate when D'Lo scored 20 or more. Like every time D'Lo scored in 20 plus points for Minnesota, they won those games. D'Lo won that play-in game for Minnesota and was huge for them. And yet Minnesota just acted like he was just like some other guy, like some random dude. And he came to the Lakers and he thrived, shot nearly 50% from the field, 42% from three, was huge for us, gave us 17 plus points per game. And then we got to the playoffs and he's doing it again. He's still sticking with it. He's still doing everything and then some. And we are undefeated when he scores 17 or more in the playoffs. That's not a coincidence. It's because he's that good and that valuable. And we need D'Angelo Russell to continue to thrive. We need D'Lo to continue to work and play the way he's been playing. Seriously, we need him to continue to play hard and just continue to thrive. I really do believe that he can have a huge impact on this series, next series, the NBA Finals. And I do. I really think he is that valuable for this team, for this squad. The guy is just, he's Mr. Ice in his veins, like I mentioned earlier. He's incredible. And we need him to thrive. We really do. Need him to thrive. And look, so far with the Lakers, he's doing that. You know, he's given us a solid contribution game in and game out. He's had, don't get me wrong, he's had his rough games. He's had his rough moments, right? What was it Memphis game 2 or whatever? He gave us like 5 points and just laid an egg. Um but outside of that, he's given us, outside of that one bad game, he's given us 19 points, 17 points, 17 points, 11 points, 31 points, 19 points, and 10 points. That's really good. That's really, really good. That's his playoff stats. He's given us basically 17 points per game in the playoffs. And we are winning because of it. That's what we need. We need him to continue to do that. Need him to continue to thrive. If he does that, I really believe that I think we run the table. Not like necessarily saying we go undefeated, but if he plays the way we just saw him play, and I'm not saying he has to shoot 70% every game, but efficiency. Give us 15 to 20 points per game on like 45% from the field and 38% from three, which again, he's shooting 50% from the field and 42% from three in the regular season. So he's basically, that's a 5% drop off. But that still is great for the playoffs. You know, if he can do that, give us 15 to 20 per game, dish out somewhere in the 6 to 8 assists per game area, we're money. We are absolutely money. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of D'Lo? What did you think of his performance? What did you think of the game? Have you been impressed? Do you like D'Lo? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know.